What makes the UK truly memorable? Stroll the foggy streets of London, surrounded by landmarks like Big Ben and the Palace of Westminster, and take in the vibrant Notting Hill Carnival. Head north, and the medieval streets of York invite you to sample Yorkshire puddings while admiring the ancient York Minster in shambles. In Edinburgh, Scotland, explore the Royal Mile, Edinburgh Castle, and sample traditional haggis in a pub. Stand on Northern Ireland's Giant's Causeway with its legendary basalt stones, or hike the misty Isle of Skye, where sea eagles soar, or explore the Welsh coast, where seals, penguins, and dolphins roam, and the spectacular Pembrokeshire cliffs provide the perfect trails for the adventurous. So, are you ready to discover the best places in the UK? Fun facts about the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is a nation steeped in rich history and fascinating traditions. Its origins can be traced back to the Anglo-Saxon King Athelstan in the early 10th century, with Wales officially joining England in 1536, Scotland uniting in 1707 to form Great Britain, and Ireland joining in 1800, though only Northern Ireland remains today. The country's geography is uniquely maritime, with no location more than 75 miles from the sea and the third longest coastline in Europe, after Norway and Denmark. Ben Nevis stands as its highest point at 1,345 meters, and the UK shares a land border with only Ireland. The country is home to rare temperate rainforests, which are actually more threatened than their tropical counterparts, providing essential habitats for moisture-loving lichens, liverworts, and mosses. The nation's wildlife is remarkably diverse, with the field vole being the most widespread mammal, boasting around 60 million individuals, followed by 47 million common shrews. The UK currently hosts more deer than at any point in the past millennium, with estimates ranging from 650,000 to 2 million, half of which reside in Scotland. The cultural landscape is equally diverse, particularly in London, where over 8 million residents speak approximately 300 languages, while the entire country boasts nearly 40 different English dialects. British culinary culture is notable for its tea consumption, with citizens drinking between 100 to 160 million cups daily, and for adopting chicken tikka masala as a national dish. The nation maintains unique traditions like the Cooper's Hill Cheese Rolling Festival and has hosted the world's longest-running show, The Mousetrap, in London since 1952. Edinburgh's International Fringe Festival draws over 2.5 million visitors annually, showcasing the country's vibrant arts scene. The UK's contributions to global progress are significant, having invented the world's first subway system in London and giving birth to numerous popular sports including soccer, rugby, cricket, and golf. The nation has also produced some of history's most influential scientists, including Charles Darwin, Isaac Newton, and Stephen Hawking, cementing its place as a global leader in scientific advancement. Products bearing a royal stamp indicate at least 5 years of royal family patronage, reflecting the monarchy's continuing influence on British culture and commerce. The country's natural heritage is equally impressive, with its woodlands housing half of the world's flowering bluebells and ancient trees like the Fortingal yew in Scotland, which at approximately 3,000 years old predates Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism. A misty dawn sweeps over the rolling hills of Scotland, revealing a land that seems untouched by time. Beneath ancient oaks across heathered moors, and hidden within craggy cliffs, a secret life stirs. Now, you might be wondering what makes wildlife in the UK so unique? In a country known for its quaint villages and historic castles, you might not expect to find foxes darting through city streets or dolphins leaping in coastal waters. But here, nature thrives, often in unexpected places and with incredible stories. Unlike its gray counterpart, which dominates much of the UK, the red squirrel holds a special place in Britain's natural heritage. With tufted ears and a vivid red coat, these squirrels are native to the UK, though they now mostly hide in the quieter forests of Scotland. Then there's the red fox, master of the cityscape and the countryside. To most of us, foxes are symbols of cleverness, but in the UK they've embraced city life. They roam urban backyards, prowl through gardens, and even scale fences to scavenge from garbage bins. In London, it's not unusual to spot a fox slinking through a moonlit street, eyes glinting, balancing between the wild and the urban jungle. Not far from the cities, the majestic red deer roam. These are the largest land mammals in the UK, and during autumn, the Scottish Highlands echo with their powerful calls as stags clash in the annual rut. Antlers locked, they engage in battles of strength for dominance, a display of raw power that stands in stark contrast to the UK's refined, pastoral image. On the rivers and quiet streams, otters make their homes. Sleek, playful, and highly social, these creatures glide through water with ease, hunting for fish and crustaceans. Spotting an otter in the wild feels almost like discovering a secret. They're elusive, often hiding at the first sign of a human. But when they emerge, it's like a ripple of joy, reminding us of nature's more tender side. Meanwhile, the UK's coastal waters are alive with dolphins, seals, and puffins. Imagine standing on a wind-swept shore, watching a pod of dolphins leap through the waves with effortless grace, playing in the surf. Seals bask along rocky shores, their soft, rounded bodies stretched out under the sun. While in spring, puffins return to nest on rugged cliffs, their brightly colored beaks vivid against the gray stone. But the UK's wilderness has more secrets to uncover. What other rare sightings await those willing to venture deeper? Number 1. London. Starting with the first location, London. Have you ever wondered why England is called the land of fog? Mist rolling over historic cobbled streets, obscuring the line between reality and legend. This fog isn't just a weather phenomenon, it's a symbol of mystery, history, and magic, a perfect setting for London. This is more than just a tourist destination. It's an experience. Let's begin with London's historic heartbeat, the Westminster Complex. This site has been at the core of British identity for centuries, shaping not only the city but the entire world. As you walk through, the first sight that will stop you in your tracks is Big Ben, a symbol of England itself. Here's something interesting: Big Ben isn't actually the name of the tower, but the massive 13-ton bell within it. Standing beneath its towering structure, you feel time slow, as if history itself wants you to take a moment, breathe, and look closer. Next, we come to the magnificent Palace of Westminster, the home of the British Parliament. Every law, every debate, every decision made here ripples across the globe. Every wall holds secrets, every room has witnessed the forging of history. And a stone's throw away is Westminster Abbey, where British monarchs have been crowned for nearly 1,000 years. Inside, the air is thick with reverence and memory. It's as if every carved archway, every stained glass window whispers stories of royalty, of victories, of heartache. Together, Big Ben, the Palace of Westminster, and Westminster Abbey form a powerful trio, a symbol of England's endurance and grandeur. But London is not just defined by its history. It's a vibrant, living city that pulses with cultural diversity. Take the annual Notting Hill Carnival, a dazzling celebration that attracts over 1 million people to the streets every August. The festival brings the spirit of the Caribbean to London, filling the air with steel drum beats, colorful feathered costumes, and the tantalizing aroma of jerk chicken. It's one of Europe's largest street festivals, showing a city that thrives on multiculturalism, a place where cultures don't just coexist, they celebrate together. From there, we leap into the world of modern London with the London Eye, a symbol of the city's present and future. This massive Ferris wheel, towering at 443 feet, gives visitors a panoramic view of London. As you slowly rise in one of its glass pods, the view unfolds beneath you, a blend of ancient architecture and modern skyscrapers. From this height, you can spot Tower Bridge, its iconic twin towers rising over the Thames, a marvel of Victorian engineering that still draws millions of visitors each year. London's cultural richness extends to its food, a city where flavors from around the world blend harmoniously. Take a stroll through Borough Market, one of London's oldest markets, where you'll find everything from traditional British fare to global delicacies. Imagine biting into crispy fish and chips, or savoring a traditional Sunday roast with Yorkshire pudding. Yet, within steps, you can also find aromatic Indian curries, savory Mediterranean pastries, and exotic spices from around the world. It's a feast for the senses, a taste of the world in one city. And for a classic British experience, there's nothing quite like afternoon tea. With scones slathered in clotted cream, dainty finger sandwiches, and fragrant teas, it's an experience that transports you back to a time of elegance and grace. A short walk from these bustling markets, we reach Buckingham Palace. It's here you can witness the changing of the guard, an age-old tradition that draws hundreds of visitors each day. The rhythmic sound of polished boots on pavement, the red and gold uniforms, and the stoic expressions of the Queen's Guard. This isn't just a ceremony, it's a centuries-old ritual, one that binds past and present in a display of pride and precision. Watching it, you feel connected not just to London, but to a shared heritage that stretches across generations. So can one city truly capture the essence of a nation? London certainly tries. Have you ever experienced the magic of London? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your favorite moments in the city. Number 2. York. What if you could step back in time, wandering through medieval streets, touching ancient walls, and feeling centuries of history surround you? Let's begin with York, an ancient city first established by the Romans nearly 2,000 years ago. Today, its history is written in its architecture, its streets, and the people who call it home. One of York's most iconic features is the Old Town walls, which wrap around the city for over 2 miles, providing a unique view of its layout. Walking atop these walls, you can look out over the red rooftops, winding streets, and towering spires that define York. Roman soldiers once patrolled these walls, keeping watch over a thriving outpost. In medieval times, these same walls protected the citizens from invaders. Just inside these walls lies one of the world's most magnificent Gothic cathedrals, York Minster. Standing 235 feet tall, this massive structure dominates the cityscape, drawing visitors from all over the world. Step inside, and you're greeted by the soft light that filters through nearly 2 million pieces of stained glass. Some of these windows are so detailed that they've been called the Sistine Chapel of stained glass. In this vast, echoing space, it's hard not to feel moved by the beauty and the history woven into every corner. The artistry, the devotion, and the craftsmanship that built York Minster have made it not only a place of worship but a masterpiece in its own right. A short walk from York Minster is the Shambles, York's most famous medieval street and one of the best preserved in Europe. With its cobblestone path and leaning, timber-framed buildings, the Shambles feels like stepping into a scene from a storybook. In the 1400s, this street was filled with butcher shops, and the shelves that jutted out from buildings were used to display meat. Today, the Shambles is bustling with quaint shops, tea rooms, and specialty stores. Here you might find traditional English fudge, a souvenir from one of the many charming boutiques, or simply enjoy the feeling of being in a place where little has changed in 600 years. Before continuing the journey, I have a request for everyone watching. If you can help me, it only takes 10 seconds to hit the subscribe button. This really helps our channel grow and means a lot to us. In return, my team and I are committed to continuously improving the program for you. Do we have a deal? Number 3. Edinburgh. But to truly experience the depth of the UK's history, we must travel north to Edinburgh, Scotland's capital and a city that feels like something out of a myth. Perched high on Castle Rock, Edinburgh Castle commands attention, offering sweeping views of the city below. Built in the 12th century, this fortress has been witness to countless battles and royal dramas. Here, in its great halls and stone corridors, Scotland's kings and queens once held court, and the iconic Stone of Destiny used in the coronation of Scottish monarchs remains a symbol of the nation's spirit. The sound of the wind whistling through its towers, carrying the weight of history. From Edinburgh Castle, the Royal Mile unfolds below, stretching toward Holyrood Palace at the other end. This famous mile-long street captures the essence of Edinburgh's character. It's alive with street performers, shops selling tartan and whiskey, and the unmistakable sound of bagpipes echoing down the cobblestones. You yourself walk through a tapestry of colors, sounds, and scents, as performers dressed in traditional kilts share Scottish folk music and dancers entertain visitors from every corner of the globe. The Royal Mile feels like a bridge between eras, connecting you to Edinburgh's storied past while showcasing its vibrant present. At the end of the Royal Mile, we reach Holyrood Palace, the official residence of the British monarch in Scotland. Built in the 16th century, it has hosted some of Scotland's most intense moments, royal feuds, intrigue, and mysteries that remain unsolved. Queen Mary of Scots pacing the grand halls, surrounded by splendor but embroiled in challenges that would ultimately define her reign. Today, visitors can explore the lavish staterooms, beautiful gardens, and haunted chambers, each filled with reminders of Scotland's dramatic history. Number 4. Oxford vs. Cambridge. Our next journey with Oxford and Cambridge, two cities synonymous with excellence, ambition, and tradition. Established in the 12th and 13th centuries, these universities are more than just educational institutions, they are symbols of human achievement. Walking through Oxford, a city dubbed the City of Dreaming Spires, where every cobblestone and archway seems to hold the weight of history. The Gothic towers and intricate stone gargoyles add a touch of mystery, as if the city itself whispers secrets of the past. And it's no wonder. Oxford has educated 28 British prime ministers, more than 50 Nobel Prize winners, and countless influential figures from all over the world. Then there's Cambridge, with its peaceful river, open quads, and ivy-clad walls. Here, the iconic King's College Chapel rises majestically, its breathtaking fan-vaulted ceiling considered a marvel of medieval engineering. Yourself on a punt. Drifting along the River Cam beneath ancient stone bridges. From this tranquil vantage point, you can almost feel the weight of the discoveries made here, discoveries that changed our understanding of the universe, from Newton's theory of gravity to the discovery of DNA by Watson and Crick. Beyond the academics, Oxford and Cambridge are alive with cultural events. Attending a reading at the Bodleian Library, Oxford's 400-year-old Cathedral of Books, or exploring Cambridge's Fitzwilliam Museum, home to everything from Egyptian relics to Impressionist masterpieces. Both cities offer experiences that transcend education, opening windows into worlds of art, history, and discovery. But our journey doesn't end with scholarship and spires. Now, we move to Liverpool, a city pulsing with rhythm, resilience, and boundless creativity. Known globally as the birthplace of the Beatles, Liverpool's contribution to music cannot be overstated. At the Cavern Club, where the Beatles first took the stage, or along Matthew Street with its Beatles statues and Wall of Fame, you feel the echoes of a musical revolution. In these very streets, 4 young men with guitars ignited a movement that would sweep the world. Today, Liverpool draws over 800,000 Beatles fans every year, showing that the Fab Four legacy is alive and thriving. Number 5. Liverpool. Yet Liverpool is not just about music. For centuries, it was one of the busiest ports in the world, connecting Britain to distant shores and influencing global commerce and culture. The Albert Dock, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is an enduring symbol of this maritime heritage. As you walk along its cobbled paths, you can see the transformation red brick warehouses, once bustling with goods and sailors, now house museums, galleries, and cafes. This is where history meets the modern, a place that remembers its past while embracing its future. In fact, the Merseyside Maritime Museum, located in Albert Dock, provides a window into Liverpool's seafaring history. With exhibits covering everything from the ill-fated voyage of the Titanic to the city's role in international trade, the museum tells stories of ambition, hardship, and resilience. At its peak, Liverpool's port processed over 40% of the world's trade, shaping the city into a hub of international connections. Visiting here offers a rare look at the waves of history that have washed over Liverpool, and a reminder of how the city's spirit has persevered. How does the history of the Albert Dock and Liverpool's seafaring past inspire you? We'd love to hear your reflections. Drop a comment below and let us know how this blend of history and modern life resonates with you. Number 6. Jurassic Coast. What if the land could tell its own story? Not just about human history, but of an Earth much older than we can imagine, an ancient world, etched in stone and shaped by the sea. Jurassic Coast, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that stretches 95 miles across Dorset and East Devon. This coastline spans 185 million years of geological history, preserving the story of three major geological periods: the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. Walking here, you can almost feel the weight of that history. Beneath your feet are fossils and rocks that hold evidence of creatures long extinct, from early marine reptiles to the first dinosaurs. And as you stand there taking it all in, you see Durdle Door rising against the sea, a natural limestone arch that's been sculpted by thousands of years of wind and waves. Durdle Door isn't just a sight to see, it's an experience. Standing on the beach, waves crashing, sunlight streaming through the arch. It's one of the UK's most photographed landmarks, drawing nearly 500,000 visitors each year. But the real beauty is in its quiet power, the feeling of standing beside something shaped by time, something that will likely outlast us all. Durdle Door, with its weathered arch and sweeping coastline, is a reminder of how nature creates beauty and holds it steady for centuries. Just a few miles along the coast, we encounter Old Harry Rocks, a stunning group of chalk formations that rise out of the sea, standing as sentinels against the horizon. Legend has it that the rocks are named after a notorious pirate, Old Harry, who used these cliffs as a lookout. But the true story goes back even further, to over 65 million years ago, when these cliffs began forming. Standing on the edge of the cliff, you look out over the brilliant white rocks against the deep blue of the sea, and it's breathtaking. Every cliff and every stack has been carved by waves, shaped by time, and left standing as a tribute to nature's quiet resilience. Number 7. White Cliffs of Dover. From here, our journey takes us east to one of England's most iconic landmarks, the White Cliffs of Dover. Rising up to 350 feet, these chalk cliffs are more than a natural wonder, they're a symbol of British endurance. For centuries, these cliffs have been the first sight for travelers arriving by sea, and the last glimpse of home for those leaving. Standing on the cliff's edge, gazing out across the English Channel on a clear day, you can see France just 20 miles away, yet the cliffs seem to hold their ground as a reminder of England's strength and spirit. Every year, nearly 1 million visitors come to see the cliffs, inspired by their beauty and significance. Number 8. Seven Sisters Cliffs. As you follow the coastline, you arrive at the Seven Sisters Cliffs, another stunning series of white cliffs that create a natural rhythm as they rise and fall along the coast. Unlike the solitary White Cliffs of Dover, the Seven Sisters unfold in a breathtaking sequence, their curves and edges softened by lush grass and wildflowers. Here, nature paints a dramatic scene, brilliant white cliffs against the emerald grass and sapphire waters below. Walking along these cliffs, you feel like you're in a place untouched by time, a place where nature's power and beauty come together in perfect harmony. Number 9. The Needles. The Needles, one of the Isle of Wight's most iconic sites. These three chalk stacks, each standing around 100 feet tall, have been sculpted over millennia by relentless waves and fierce winds. Rising sharply from the ocean near Alum Bay, the Needles form a striking contrast against the blue-green waters and are framed by the famous red and white lighthouse perched at the tip. This lighthouse has guided sailors since 1859, standing as a symbol of resilience and protection in these unpredictable waters. Interestingly, the Needles are named for an earlier formation called Lot's Wife, a needle-shaped rock that collapsed in a storm in 1764. Standing here, You can imagine the awe and perhaps fear that must have gripped onlookers as the rock fell, claimed forever by the sea. The Needles aren't just about natural beauty. The cliffs above house a hidden chapter of history during the Cold War. This site was a secret testing ground for British rockets. Today, visitors can explore some of these military installations, adding an unexpected layer of intrigue to an already breathtaking landscape. For an even closer view, thousands of visitors take the Needles chairlift each year, descending 250 feet down to Alum Bay, where they can witness the iconic chalk formations from the beach and even collect colorful sands as a souvenir. The Needles are more than a photo op, they're a reminder of the timeless forces of nature and the ever-changing relationship between land and sea. Number 10. The Minack Theatre. From the windswept cliffs of the Needles, we head to Cornwall's rugged coastline, where we find the Minack Theatre, an open-air amphitheater perched on a granite cliff high above the Atlantic. This theater was born from the vision and dedication of one woman, Rowena Cade, who in the 1930s began transforming this rocky outcrop into a magical performance space, hauling stones and mixing concrete by hand. Today, the Minack Theatre seats up to 750 people and hosts thousands each season for performances of Shakespeare, modern plays, musicals, and more. Each stone step and carved seat holds the story of its creation, the labor of love behind every detail evident to all who visit. Watching a play as the sun sets over the Atlantic, casting a warm glow on the granite stage. The crashing waves below provide the background music, and a cool sea breeze brushes across the audience. On a clear night, the stars above serve as a natural canopy, adding to the sense of magic. The experience is more than theater, it's a merging of art and nature, a place where storytelling feels as ancient as the rocks themselves. The Minack is a testament to human creativity and resilience, blending seamlessly with the landscape around it to create an atmosphere unlike any other. Number 11. Stonehenge. Stonehenge, arguably the most iconic prehistoric monument in the world. Located on the windswept Salisbury Plain, this ring of towering stones has fascinated people for over 5,000 years. It's hard to imagine how ancient builders, without the machinery we take for granted today, transported these stones, each weighing up to 25 tons from as far as 150 miles away. Theories about its purpose are as varied as they are intriguing. Some suggest it was an astronomical calendar, aligned with the movements of the sun and moon. While others believe it was a place for sacred rituals. Today, more than 1.5 million visitors from around the globe come here annually, hoping to unlock a piece of Stonehenge's mystery. Standing amidst these massive stones, you can't help but feel a sense of wonder, as if you're in the presence of an ancient power that transcends time. Number 12. Hadrian's Wall. From the mystique of Stonehenge, we head north to the rugged landscape of Hadrian's Wall. This colossal wall, stretching 73 miles across northern England, was constructed nearly 2,000 years ago under the orders of Emperor Hadrian, marking the northernmost boundary of the Roman Empire. Roman soldiers, stationed at this very frontier, braving the harsh winds and watching over the wild, untamed lands to the north. Over 15,000 soldiers worked to complete the wall in just 6 years, a feat of Roman engineering. Even after centuries of weathering, sections of Hadrian's Wall remain intact, dotted with forts, watchtowers, and castles that once formed a formidable line of defense. Today, thousands of hikers and history enthusiasts trek along its length, following in the footsteps of ancient soldiers who once patrolled this boundary, standing watch over the empire. Number 13. Fountains Abbey. A place of serenity and beauty, Fountains Abbey in North Yorkshire. Founded in 1132 by a small group of monks seeking a secluded life of prayer, Fountains Abbey quickly grew to become one of England's largest and wealthiest monasteries. Its grandeur, however, was brought to an abrupt end during Henry VIII's dissolution of the monasteries in the 16th century. What remains today is hauntingly beautiful tall. Graceful arches and ivy-clad walls stand open to the sky, their silence a reminder of a different time. Set within the UNESCO-listed Studley Royal Water Garden, the Abbey's ruins are surrounded by manicured lawns and peaceful water features, offering a sense of tranquility that draws visitors from across the globe. With its stunning landscapes and echo of medieval grandeur, Fountains Abbey invites us to imagine a time when faith and architecture worked together to create spaces of reverence and peace. Number 4. Uffington Whitehorse. Uffington Whitehorse, a 360-foot-long figure etched into the green hills of Oxfordshire. Considered to be Britain's oldest hill carving, the Uffington horse is estimated to be over 3,000 years old, dating back to the late Bronze Age. Its abstract, stylized form makes it look almost modern. Yet it's been here for millennia, watching over the valley. The hands that carved this figure, laboring with primitive tools, perhaps as part of a ceremony or a symbol of something sacred. Archaeologists have suggested it could represent a tribal emblem or an ancient deity, while others link it to Celtic mythology, believing it may have been a powerful symbol to early Britons. The Uffington horse, carved deep into the chalk, has stood the test of time. Every few years, volunteers gather for the traditional scouring, a ritual that involves cleaning and recalking the figure to keep it vivid against the hillside. Today, it draws over 100,000 visitors annually, each visitor marveling at its age, its artistry, and its enigmatic purpose. Standing beside it, with the wind in your hair and the countryside stretching out below, it's easy to feel connected to those who came before, those who may have stood here, looking at the same figure and wondering about its meaning. Number 5. Cerne Abbas Giant. Our journey continues south, to the village of Cerne Abbas in Dorset, where another chalk figure dominates the landscape. The Cerne Abbas Giant, standing 180 feet tall, is a bold and unmistakable figure, wielding a club and proudly carved into the hillside. With a muscular outline and distinct features, the giant commands attention. But unlike the Uffington horse, the origins of the Cerne Abbas Giant are less certain. Was he carved by the Romans, perhaps as a depiction of Hercules, a symbol of strength and power? Or is he a more recent creation, perhaps a fertility symbol linked to pagan beliefs? Local folklore suggests that couples hoping for children would visit the giant, believing he could bless them with fertility. Historians have debated the giant's age for years. Some claim he was created during the Iron Age or Roman times, while others suggest he might be a medieval addition, created around the 17th century. During the English Civil War, the local villagers are said to have hidden the giant from enemy soldiers, covering him with grass to keep him out of sight. Today, he's a beloved symbol of Dorset, appearing on postcards and souvenirs, and even celebrated in festivals. Each year, thousands of visitors come to see the giant, drawn by his bold design and the mystery of his origins. Number 6. Warwick Castle. Warwick Castle, a fortress steeped in over 1,000 years of history. Built by William the Conqueror in 1068, Warwick Castle has stood the test of time, witnessing battles, sieges, and royal gatherings. Today, it's one of England's most visited castles, drawing over 500,000 visitors each year. As you walk through its massive stone gates, you're transported back to the medieval world. Standing in the Great Hall, surrounded by gleaming suits of armor, intricate tapestries, and towering chandeliers. Each room, from the private chambers to the stately banquet hall, tells the story of those who lived and ruled within these walls. The castle grounds offer even more every summer. Thousands gather to watch the War of the Roses live reenactment, where actors in full armor recreate the bloody battles that once tore England apart. Number 7. Leeds Castle. From Warwick's fortified walls, we journey southeast to Leeds Castle, a place of elegance and romance. Known as the loveliest castle in the world, Leeds Castle is set on 2 small islands in the middle of a sparkling lake, surrounded by 500 acres of lush gardens. Originally built in 1119, Leeds Castle served as a royal residence for 6 queens, and later as a luxurious private estate. Wandering through rooms filled with antique furniture, fine art, and artifacts that date back centuries. But Leeds Castle isn't only about its interior, its grounds are a wonder in themselves. The gardens range from the Mediterranean terrace to a classic English maze, where visitors can get lost in the beauty of their surroundings. Every year, Leeds Castle hosts events like hot air balloon festivals, open-air concerts, and even jousting tournaments, drawing visitors from all over the world. Number 18. Bamburgh Castle. The north, to the windswept coastline of Northumberland, where Bamburgh Castle stands on a rocky plateau overlooking the North Sea. This location is breathtaking. The castle's dramatic silhouette against the sea has inspired legends and captured imaginations for centuries. Originally a stronghold of the ancient Britons, Bamburgh was later rebuilt by the Normans and expanded over the years into the imposing fortress we see today. Its position on the coast made it a key defense against Viking invasions, and its walls have seen centuries of battles and sieges. Walking along the ramparts, you feel the fierce wind from the North Sea and can almost hear the distant echoes of warriors who once guarded this rugged outpost. Inside, the castle holds treasures that reflect its long history: medieval weapons, ancient manuscripts, and a stunning collection of art and artifacts. It's no surprise that Bamburgh Castle draws hundreds of thousands of visitors each year, each one captivated by its history and the beauty of its surroundings. Number 19. Whitby Abbey. What if a place could pull you back in time, letting you glimpse the mysteries of centuries past? Whitby Abbey, a ruined Benedictine monastery perched high on a cliff overlooking the North Sea in North Yorkshire. Originally founded in 657 AD and rebuilt in the 13th century, the abbey's skeletal arches and towers dominate the landscape, offering a view that's both breathtaking and eerie. Whitby Abbey is more than just a historical site, it's a cultural icon. This windswept ruin inspired Bram Stoker's Dracula, with its haunting silhouette and proximity to the sea setting the scene for one of the world's most famous Gothic novels. Each year, the Abbey draws more than 150,000 visitors, many of whom are captivated by the same atmosphere that inspired Stoker over a century ago. Number 20. Durham Cathedral. Leaving the haunting beauty of Whitby behind, we travel 70 miles south to the majestic Durham Cathedral, one of the finest examples of Norman architecture in Europe. Built between 1093 and 1133, Durham Cathedral's grandeur is impossible to ignore. Set on a hill overlooking the River Wear, its massive stone walls and intricately designed columns rise toward the heavens, creating an imposing yet awe-inspiring sight. Stepping inside, you're greeted by towering stone pillars and the soaring vaulted ceilings of the nave, designed to draw your eyes upward, a technique meant to inspire reverence and reflection. Durham Cathedral has long been a place of pilgrimage, housing the relics of St. Cuthbert, a beloved saint of northern England. Durham Cathedral's allure doesn't end with its religious significance. Its cloisters and chapter house were famously featured in the Harry Potter films as part of Hogwarts, introducing a new generation to the magic of its architecture. Walking through these cloisters, it's easy to see why filmmakers chose this setting. Each corridor and archway seems filled with stories, as if the walls themselves are alive with history. Beyond film, the cathedral was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1986, cementing its status as one of the most treasured historic sites in the UK. Number 21. St. Michael's Mount. St. Michael's Mount, a tidal island off the Cornish coast. Rising dramatically from the sea, this island is crowned by a medieval church and castle and is only accessible at low tide by a narrow, cobbled causeway. Crossing it as the tide recedes, water slowly parting to reveal ancient stones, each one smoothed by centuries of footsteps. On the shores surrounding St. Michael's Mount, you might spot Atlantic gray seals lounging on the rocks or bobbing playfully in the waves. These seals, symbols of Cornwall's wild coastline, draw hundreds of visitors every year, each hoping to catch a glimpse of these endearing creatures. Number 22. Glastonbury Tor. Leaving the coast behind, we journey inland to Glastonbury Tor in Somerset. This iconic hill, topped with the remains of St. Michael's Tower, has been a spiritual landmark for centuries. Many believe Glastonbury Tor is the mythical Isle of Avalon, tied to the legends of King Arthur, while others see it as a sacred site connecting the physical and spiritual worlds. Climbing the winding path to the summit offers breathtaking views across Somerset. On the way up, keep an eye out for red foxes slipping quietly through the fields or the majestic peregrine falcon circling above. The sight of these wild animals, moving gracefully through the landscape, only adds to the mystique of Glastonbury Tor, a place where myth, nature, and history meet. Number 23. Angel of the North. Our next stop is a striking modern icon, the Angel of the North. Located in Gateshead, this 66-foot tall steel sculpture by Antony Gormley has a wingspan wider than a Boeing 747, making it one of the largest sculptures in the world. The angel, standing strong and open-armed, represents hope and resilience for the people of northern England. As you stand beneath it, gazing up at its vast wings, you might see barn owls or kestrels soaring through the skies, their graceful flight a natural complement to the angel's quiet strength. Every year, the Angel of the North draws over 150,000 visitors, each one captivated by its powerful message of unity and community. Number 24. Wise Pass. From urban artistry, we move to the lush landscape of Wise Pass in the Wye Valley, a breathtaking stretch of land on the England-Wales border. Known for its deep green hills, winding river, and limestone cliffs, Wise Pass is a haven for nature lovers and wildlife alike. Here, you may spot European otters sliding into the river or catch a flash of blue as a kingfisher dives for fish. The Wye Valley's landscapes and wildlife have inspired poets like Wordsworth, and today, it continues to draw visitors who come to experience the tranquility and natural beauty of this timeless valley. Standing here, with the river curving gently below and the hills rising around you, it's easy to feel at one with the world. Number 25. Windermere. Further north, we arrive at Windermere, the largest natural lake in England and a true gem of the Lake District. Surrounded by rugged mountains, quaint villages, and rolling hills, Windermere is a destination for adventurers and nature enthusiasts alike. On a calm morning, you might see ospreys swooping down to catch fish, their wings glinting in the early light. Or, if you're lucky, you may catch sight of the rare red squirrel darting between branches, a species that has become an emblem of the Lake District's conservation efforts. Windermere is more than just a lake, it's a place to lose yourself in nature's beauty, to find peace and inspiration in the same landscapes that stirred poets and artists for generations. Number 26. Royal Pavilion. A taste of architectural splendor at the Royal Pavilion in Brighton. Built in the early 19th century as a seaside retreat for King George IV, the Royal Pavilion is an opulent marvel of Indo-Saracenic design, with grand domes, minarets, and vibrant colors. The surrounding gardens are a haven for wildlife, where you might encounter the friendly European robin, a beloved bird often seen in British folklore as a symbol of luck and cheer. Walking through these gardens and the Royal Pavilion's lavishly decorated halls, you get a sense of the UK's eclectic cultural heritage, a blend of East and West, tradition and extravagance. Number 27. Isle of Skye. Isle of Skye, famed for its rugged beauty and ethereal landscapes. The Keelan Hills, often cloaked in mist, are a series of jagged peaks that dominate the island's skyline. These mountains, some rising over 3,000 feet, are a draw for hikers and adventurers from around the globe. Known for their challenging climbs and stunning views, Highlands offer an experience of pure wilderness. Amidst these peaks, you might catch a glimpse of a golden eagle, one of Britain's most powerful birds of prey, its massive wingspan spreading over 7 feet. These eagles, often seen soaring against the backdrop of rocky summits, only add to Skye's aura of mystique, as if nature itself is part of the island's legend. Just a short distance away lies another of Skye's wonders, the Old Man of Storr, a towering rock formation that stands at nearly 160 feet. This natural monolith, visible for miles, is wrapped in myths and local folklore. According to legend, it marks the final resting place of a giant who once roamed these hills. Every year, thousands of visitors hike the steep path to witness the panoramic views of Skye's rolling hills and distant sea. Surrounded by the calls of red deer and the occasional sighting of ravens darting across the sky, the Old Man of Storr feels timeless, a place where Scotland's landscapes and stories are intertwined. Number 28. Edinburgh Castle. From Skye's wild landscapes, we move to Scotland's storied castles, beginning with the formidable Edinburgh Castle. Perched high on Castle Rock, a volcanic hill in Scotland's capital, Edinburgh Castle has been a symbol of strength for over 900 years. With over 2 million visitors annually, it's one of the most visited attractions in the UK. Edinburgh Castle houses the Stone of Destiny, a revered symbol of Scottish monarchy, and the honours of Scotland, the country's oldest crown jewels. Walking through its ancient halls and passages, you can almost hear the echoes of Scotland's past, the coronations of kings, the clashing of swords, the royal ceremonies that once filled these walls. From the castle's battlements, you can see sweeping views of Edinburgh, a reminder of its place in Scotland's history and the hearts of its people. Number 29. Stirling Castle. Leaving the bustling capital, we arrive at Stirling Castle, often called the Key to Scotland due to its strategic location between the Highlands and the Lowlands. Stirling Castle is more than just a fortress, it's the site of pivotal moments in Scottish history. Here, William Wallace led his forces to victory at the Battle of Stirling Bridge in 1297, and it's where Mary, Queen of Scots, was crowned. Inside, the castle's restored interiors transport you to the grandeur of a medieval court, with vibrant tapestries, art, and period furnishings that recreate the splendor of the royal household. Stirling Castle draws nearly 500,000 visitors each year, each coming to connect with the legacy of Scottish independence and heroism. Standing on its battlements, watching peregrine falcons circling the skies above, it's easy to imagine the battles fought and the lives changed here. Number 30. Dunnottar Castle. Dunnottar Castle, a place as dramatic as it is remote. Perched on a cliff overlooking the North Sea near Stonehaven, this medieval fortress seems almost part of the rocky headland on which it stands. Known for its role in protecting the honours of Scotland during Cromwell's invasion, Dunnottar has a legacy of resilience. Though partially in ruins today, the castle's remains are a powerful reminder of Scotland's fierce spirit. Reaching Dunnottar requires a short but steep hike, and the reward is a breathtaking view of cliffs dropping to the crashing waves below. As you stand among the crumbling walls, you might hear the calls of kittiwakes and guillemots nesting on the cliffs, their cries blending with the ocean's roar. The castle feels almost like a time capsule, where Scotland's wild beauty and storied history are preserved side by side. Number 31. Glenfinnan Viaduct. Glenfinnan Viaduct, a magnificent railway bridge with 21 sweeping arches, gracefully spanning the rugged Scottish Highlands. Built in 1898, the viaduct has become world famous, especially after being featured in the Harry Potter films, where the Hogwarts Express travels across its arches on its way to Hogwarts. This cinematic connection has attracted thousands of fans and travelers each year, hoping to see the viaduct come to life just as it does in the movies. Visitors lucky enough to catch a view of the Jacobite steam train crossing the bridge can expect a truly magical sight. Set against the backdrop of Loch Shiel and framed by the surrounding mountains, the viaduct feels almost otherworldly, like a piece of another time. Number 32. Ring of Brodgar. Leaving the viaduct, we travel north to the Ring of Brodgar, a mysterious prehistoric stone circle located on the Orkney Islands. Estimated to be over 4,000 years old, this ancient monument is part of the heart of Neolithic Orkney UNESCO World Heritage Site, and is often compared to Stonehenge for its age, size, and significance. Standing among the 27 remaining stones, some of which reach over 13 feet in height, you feel a powerful sense of history, as though you're stepping into a sacred place. Theories about the ring's purpose vary widely. Was it an astronomical calendar? A ceremonial site? A gathering place for ancient rituals? No one knows for sure, and that mystery draws around 80,000 visitors a year, each one captivated by the possibility of connecting with a world long past. Number 33. The Kelpies. From the ancient to the modern, our next stop takes us to the Kelpies, two colossal, 100-foot-tall horse head sculptures located in the Helix Park, near Falkirk. Designed by artist Andy Scott and completed in 2013, the Kelpies pay tribute to Scotland's working horses, once the backbone of the nation's industry and agriculture. In Scottish folklore, Kelpies are shape-shifting water spirits, often appearing as horses. These sculptures, made from gleaming steel and weighing over 300 tons each, capture both the strength and mystery of these mythical creatures. Each year, the Kelpies draw more than 1 million visitors, their size and elegance making them a must-see landmark. At night, when the sculptures are illuminated, they create a stunning, ethereal sight against the dark sky. Number 34. National Wallace Monument. Next, we head to the National Wallace Monument, a towering tribute to Scotland's legendary hero, William Wallace. Built in 1869 on the summit of Abbey Craig near Stirling, this 220-foot tower honors Wallace's role in the fight for Scottish independence. Climbing the 246 steps to the top, you'll pass displays that tell Wallace's story, from his early life to his role in the Battle of Stirling Bridge in 1297. At the top, you're rewarded with panoramic views of Stirling, the River Forth, and the surrounding highlands, a breathtaking sight that stretches for miles. Each year, more than 100,000 visitors make the pilgrimage to the Wallace Monument, drawn by the legacy of a hero whose courage and vision continue to inspire Scotland's people. Standing on the tower's summit, gazing over the landscape Wallace himself may have once surveyed, is a powerful experience. Number 35. Rattray Head Lighthouse. Rattray Head Lighthouse, perched on the northeastern coast near Peterhead. Built in 1895, this lighthouse stands isolated on a sandbank, separated from the mainland by a narrow strip of water that gives it an ethereal, almost haunting appearance. Reaching the lighthouse requires timing your visit with the tides. At low tide, visitors can walk across the sand to its base, while at high tide, it stands alone in the sea, casting light over the rough North Sea waters. This lighthouse has guided sailors through Scotland's unpredictable coastal waters for over a century. Surrounded by the call of seabirds and the endless sound of waves, Rattray Head feels like a hidden gem, a place where nature and history meet. Visitors often encounter seabirds like kittiwakes and fulmars nesting on the nearby cliffs, their cries blending with the ocean's rhythm, making Rattray Head Lighthouse feel even more like a timeless sanctuary. Number 36. Ben Nevis. Ben Nevis, towering at 4,413 feet as the tallest mountain in the United Kingdom. Located near Fort William, Ben Nevis attracts over 150,000 climbers and hikers annually, all eager to take on the challenge of reaching its peak. The ascent is rugged and exhilarating, leading through rocky paths, steep inclines, and cloud-kissed ridges. At the summit, visitors are rewarded with a 360-degree panorama of the Scottish Highlands, a view that stretches as far as 120 miles on a clear day, encompassing distant peaks, valleys, and glens. Number 37. Scottish Highlands. Descending from Ben Nevis, we find ourselves surrounded by the vast and rugged beauty of the Scottish Highlands, an area covering nearly 10,000 square miles of mountains, lochs, and moorlands. The Highlands are one of Europe's last remaining wildernesses, a region that holds some of the UK's most breathtaking scenery. Here you can find the elusive Scottish wildcat, believed to be one of the rarest animals in the UK, as well as red deer and golden eagles that soar across the highlands. The sight of these animals against such a dramatic backdrop adds to the region's sense of timelessness, as if nature has reigned here undisturbed for centuries. Number 38. Three Sisters of Glencoe. One of the most celebrated sites in the Highlands is the Three Sisters of Glencoe, a trio of striking peaks that rise from the Glencoe Valley. These mountains, known as Bian Fada, Gir Aonak, and Aonak Dub, are a sight to behold, often draped in mist. Their steep faces seem to tower protectively over the valley below. The glen itself is known as the Glen of Weeping, a name rooted in the tragic history of the 1692 massacre of the MacDonald clan. Each year, over 1 million visitors make the journey to Glencoe, drawn by both the haunting beauty of the landscape and the weight of its history. Standing in the valley, you can feel the solemn stillness of the place, broken only by the sounds of the wind, the distant cry of a golden eagle, or the gentle flow of streams carving their way through the rocks. Number 39. Fingal's Cave. Fingal's Cave on the uninhabited island of Staffa in the Inner Hebrides. This sea cave, renowned for its hexagonal basalt columns, appears almost as if it were carved by giants. Fingal's Cave was formed over 50 million years ago by volcanic activity, the same geological process that created the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland, leading to legends that the two sites are connected. The cave's natural acoustics and the rhythmic crashing of waves against its walls give it an otherworldly sound, a natural symphony that inspired Felix Mendelssohn's Hebrides Overture in 1830. Accessible only by boat, the cave draws thousands of visitors each year, each captivated by its haunting beauty. Standing at its entrance, with the echoes of waves and birds resonating within, it's easy to see why Fingal's Cave has become one of Scotland's most famous natural wonders. Number 40. Pistol Radar Waterfall. Pistol Radar, one of the tallest waterfalls in the United Kingdom. Cascading 240 feet down a dramatic cliff in the Berwyn Mountains, Pistol Radar has been a site of awe and inspiration for centuries. Legends say fairies once danced around its misty pool, hiding among the rocks and greenery. Today, the waterfall draws thousands of visitors each year, who come not only to witness its beauty but to feel its tranquility. Surrounded by lush woodlands and moss-covered stones, the sound of water tumbling over rocks creates a calming, almost mystical atmosphere. It's no wonder that this spot has been a source of inspiration for poets, artists, and travelers, offering a glimpse into Wales' natural beauty and folklore. Number 41. Conwy Castle. From this tranquil oasis, we move to the fortified walls of Conwy Castle, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the best-preserved medieval fortresses in Europe. Built by Edward I between 1283 and 1289, Conwy Castle stands as a symbol of medieval strength and strategic power. With 8 massive towers looming over the picturesque Conwy River, it's a site that feels frozen in time. Each year, over 200,000 visitors explore its grand halls, climb its narrow staircases, and walk along its high battlements. From the top, the views are stunning. The river, the town's historic walls, and the mountains in the distance create a scene straight out of history. This fortress has withstood sieges and wars, and even today, it holds an aura of resilience and grandeur, a testament to the craftsmanship and power of medieval Wales. Number 42. Snowdonia National Park. Continuing our journey, we enter the vast wilderness of Snowdonia National Park, a region that spans 823 square miles of mountains, valleys, and lakes. At the heart of Snowdonia stands Mount Snowdon, the highest peak in Wales at 3,560 feet, attracting over 600,000 hikers and climbers each year. The ascent to Snowdon's summit is a journey through some of the UK's most dramatic landscapes, offering sweeping views of the Irish Sea, distant peaks, and verdant valleys below. Snowdonia is also a haven for wildlife, home to rare species like the red kite, whose striking plumage can often be seen gliding across the skies, and the otters that play along the banks of remote lakes. Number 43. Pembrokeshire Coast. We arrive at the Pembrokeshire coast, a stunning stretch of cliffs, beaches, and coves that spans 186 miles along Wales' southwestern edge. This coastline is part of Pembrokeshire Coast National Park, a protected area celebrated for its rugged beauty and vibrant biodiversity. Along its shores, you'll find Atlantic grey seals basking on rocky outcrops, puffins nesting on cliffs, and even pods of dolphins playing in the waves. The coast is a paradise for hikers who come to trek the famed Pembrokeshire Coast Path, a long-distance trail that offers unparalleled views of cliffs plunging into the sea, hidden coves, and golden beaches. Adventure seekers are also drawn here for activities like sea kayaking, rock climbing, and snorkeling in crystal-clear waters. Number 44. The Dark Hedges. The Dark Hedges in County Antrim, Northern Ireland. This hauntingly beautiful avenue of beech trees was planted in the 18th century by the Stuart family, who wanted to create an impressive entrance to their mansion. Today, over 200 years later, the trees have grown to form an intricate canopy, with twisted branches arching over Brega Road, creating a natural tunnel that draws thousands of visitors every year. The eerie beauty of the Dark Hedges made it an ideal filming location for the King's Road in Game of Thrones, and its connection to the show has only added to its global appeal. Walking along this road, with shadows playing on the path below, it's easy to see why this site has become one of Northern Ireland's most photographed landmarks. Number 45. Giant's Causeway. From the shadows of the Dark Hedges, we travel to the famed Giant's Causeway on Northern Ireland's Antrim coast. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is a marvel of geology and legend, composed of around 40,000 basalt columns that were formed by volcanic activity over 60 million years ago. Each hexagonal column fits together like a massive puzzle, creating a surreal landscape that feels almost otherworldly. According to local legend, the causeway was built by the Irish giant Finn McCool, who intended to cross the sea to challenge his Scottish rival, Benandonor. But when Finn saw Benandonor's enormous size, he fled back to Ireland, tearing up the causeway behind him to avoid pursuit. Every year, nearly 1 million visitors stand on these ancient stones, surrounded by crashing waves and a vast sky, captivated by both the myth and the raw beauty of the site. Number 46. The Stacks Dun-Bree Stacks. Next, we head west to County Mayo in Ireland, where we find the Stacks of Dun-Breast at Downpatrick Head. Rising nearly 160 feet from the Atlantic Ocean, these isolated sea stacks stand like sentinels off the rugged Irish coast, formed around 350 million years ago. These stacks were once connected to the mainland before erosion separated them, leaving behind striking columns of layered rock. Each layer reveals a part of Earth's geological history, with bands of limestone, shale, and fossils visible on the exposed cliffs. Local legend tells that St. Patrick himself once stood on Downpatrick Head, driving out pagans and leaving his imprint on this wild landscape. Standing on the edge of the headland today, visitors can witness the raw power of the Atlantic crashing against the rocks below. A scene that draws thousands of nature lovers and photographers each year. Watching the waves surge and hearing the cries of seabirds overhead, you feel the elemental force of the landscape, a place that feels truly timeless. And that's it for the timeless wonders of the United Kingdom. Each destination has a fascinating story to tell. If this journey through the United Kingdom has sparked your passion for travel, don't forget to like, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell for more adventures as we take you around the world. There's a world of discovery just around the corner, and we can't wait to share it with you.